What is up, Earthlings? Zube here, with a report for it's gonna be all over the place, but no, I want to keep that. So there's been a lot of shit going on. Holy balls. What a past few weeks we've had. So not to go into tremendous detail, but a bunch of the planets we're going through over the past few weeks. We're going through the end of Libra, and they were squaring Pluto. We had the Sun, we had Mercury, we had Mars. Okay, Mercury came out of retrograde, squared Pluto again, but you know, Pluto is our subconscious thought, kind of our, and what that felt like to me was our shadow coming out and popping up behind other people. How weird is that? Seeing things in others that like we actually have in ourselves, but are we self-aware enough to be able to acknowledge that fact, right? And work with what it is inside of us that is making it pop up in our experience. I had mentioned it, but anyway, that was a few weeks ago. Fast forward me getting my ass kicked for, a few weeks. And now we're at those same planets squaring Saturn. Saturn is in Aquarius, and exact today is Mars conjunct Mercury squaring Saturn. And that's okay. Do you feel me? I'm like amped. That's kind of like it's directly affecting my chart. So anyway, Mars is our warrior. Okay. Mars is passion, dedication, like, go get them. It's winter. It's winter energy. It's also a douchebag, right? Like on two sides of the spectrum. So we can be really fucking ornery. I'm pretty ornery right now, but anyway, so Mars is hanging out with Mercury. Mercury is actually Hermes, the messenger god, but or the god dude that brought messages from the gods. I don't know, however that works. I'm really not that into like the mythology stuff. I just know some of the archetypal things. But so Mercury is our mind, it's our thinking, it's our communication. So we may have a very penetrating, quick-witted, quick-thinking mind at the moment. And in square to Saturn, and Saturn today is paired up with the moon, which Saturn is authority, restriction, the rules, playing its karma, and paired up with the moon, which is our emotional life. That kind of makes today sort of like feeling emotionally like emotional pressure by others, probably by other people, or even like the other, like nameless other, where Mars and Mercury want to think and get shit done. So those two are kind of like colliding. Usually with a square, it's more like an argument, where you end up with a winner or a loser. And I do, Mars and Mercury together, if we can detach ourselves a bit, and the moon is in Aquarius, so that is a more detached moon. But if we can just detach ourselves a bit and harness any anger that we might have, because instead of lashing out, to redirect that anger into reason, okay, and into autonomy. Like we can actually use it to empower ourselves in situations where there could be like emotional manipulation or just this inherent need to do what others want us to do, right? And that's mostly pressure that we put on ourselves. So that there's definitely something about that going on. A lot of things that I've been seeing, and after this whole thing with Pluto, where we're being shown our subconscious patterns and You know, are you in a situation where you're like, I do this over and over and over again? Like, what in the actual fuck? Because that kind of feels like that's what God, the universe is showing us all right now, is like these patterns that make me crazy. These patterns that we have, and it's not necessarily that we should like kick our own ass on top of it, but it's just be fucking aware of it. Like, don't pretend it's not there. So here's another thing that was kind of coming to me. Like, what are you propping up? So we're being shown what's not working right now. Like that's mostly what's going on. What isn't working for us? And when years ago, I was a housekeeper and I agreed to take on a housekeeping job for this guy. And he had two places, and one was like really nice. And when I cleaned it up, it looked really nice. And the other one was just a hot fucking mess. And I hated it because the people that went into that unit always complained because it was like old and dirty. And so I called it like polishing a turd. Cleaning that house felt like I was polishing a turd. And I like, are you polishing a turd right now that you really should just acknowledge is a turd? And you probably should just start over and not try to polish it. That, and don't think of that it as like an immediate thing, like, oh, like I have a project I'm working on and it's not working right. So I should probably just fucking forget it. Like it, things that are on your heart, like keep those, you know what I mean? Like, but if there are turds that you're polishing that are taking your time and attention away from like what you're, the other things, it's just, what in the matrix are you placing so much meaning of yourself into instead of putting the value into you? Third example. Oh, I thought of another thing, kind of like, and this is what I'm witnessing like loosely out in the world. Not that I've had much time to be out in the real world, but I saw like a, a house, like a house of cards, you know, like a thing built of cards, and like somebody taking a piece of gum to like prop it up, right? So it looks shitty. I mean, it's standing, it's still working, like that worked for now, but it's not going to work for the long term because really all of that is being propped up is a house of fucking cards. Things are falling. Things are really falling, and how the things that you identify with most that fall are going to hurt the most. But the longer that you put off something that you feel like you're trying really hard not to let fall, it's just going to hurt. It's going to just take longer. This isn't a giving up energy. It's an acceptance energy. I also got this. I've been getting a bunch of stuff in meditation. I got this and I saw somebody holding up like a massive ton of shit. Like it's all theirs. You know what I mean? And this time I'm not talking about like actual shit, but like stuff, and like holding it up, and like one thing starts to kind of like fall out, and they like move their hand to like keep that, put it back in and hold it up. And I mean, and it's just the pressure is increasing and things are starting to pop out. And it, are you doing that? Because if you're doing that, like that's a lot of wasted energy. When I went to rehab, it was honestly kind of first the mental hospital. The mental hospital was like, that was probably when I felt the big pop release, you know, but that was when I was like, you know what? I don't have my shit together whatsoever. And it was so freeing. It was like, ah, like, and then I had a ton of shit to deal with. And I'm not saying that was easy either. That was a lot of work. Pretty daunting work as well, you know, like sometimes I don't know how I got through like the mess I had created in my life after I, admitted that it was a mess. Yeah, that's astounding. How I'm still here is a miracle. But anyway, whatever is behind here, it's like maybe even if something falls, something has to fall. But I'm definitely feeling this like pressure to, and maybe we're holding this stuff all up to impress someone, or because somebody else says we should have it, or, so that we feel better about ourselves because we don't inherently feel good about ourselves. So it's, it's something, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. The moon is going to head into Pisces by like Friday. So that this is still going to be going on, right? But it's going to be more, we're going to be more emotional. Okay. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into it because there's more. But basically, Mars and Mercury try to redirect your orneriness inward, because that's also some like good healing like power. Our minds are really cognizant. Mars wants to take action. Like, what can we do to exercise our autonomy and our own healing journey? So I was gonna read, because we went through a similar thing in July with Mars anyway, but Mars met up with Venus at that time. So it was likely based upon relationships. So but in the beginning of July, I've been noticing in my own journal, I'm like, this writing feels really familiar to me, because I just kind of bleh, like I have one where I just sort of vomit on the page and I get everything out. So I wrote, okay, just one thing I wrote, I just want to do what I fucking want to do. And that about sums up my attitude in the past like few weeks. And then I went back and I looked at July just to see, because Mars was in opposition to Saturn, okay, with Venus. But what did I find? And it was like the first page I turned to. I was like, let me go see what was happening back in July when this, when Mars was in opposition to Saturn as opposed to squaring it. And the first thing I saw was, I just want to be and be me. So there's this very like feisty energy about ourselves that's going on. I kind of want to pull some cards. Let's see. We'll get some spiritual advice. I would love to get feedback on how you guys are doing. Oh my God, stop it. Stop it, you guys are fucking nuts. Look at this guy. So ready? He's holding on to everything he has. The meaning behind the card is, if you don't let go, he's got nothing, he can't move. Like, he's balancing a coin on his head. He's wrapping his hands around it tight. He's not open to receive anything. So that makes me think of the image I got where somebody, is like holding back all of this stuff in order to keep it. Like, maybe it's a bunch of crap. Like, maybe we're moving into a new world and it's not even useful anymore, or it won't be useful. Like, what are you trying to save? That's funny. And the pentacles are Earth. That's our material world. The Knight of Swords. Yep. The Knight of Swords, he can be kind of a jerk, but he speaks the truth. He's a knight, he's empowered. The horse is charging. The swords are our thoughts. That's air energy, that's mental. This is quick thinking, quick action. That's fucking Mars and Mercury. Okay, you guys hear me. Good to know that. So oh my gosh, keep dropping this shit. Wow. So yes, it doesn't get any crazier than this. So these two came out together, okay? The World and the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is about coming home. The Wands are fire energy, that's spirit, passion, creativity. And this can mean like when I read it literally in a spread, it's having a housewarming or getting a new house or, you know, something along those lines. But when I'm reading it from a more spiritual perspective, it's about spiritually coming home. Look, there's the 1111 on there. And the world, I just said maybe we're moving into a new world. This is it. That's like 21. That's completion. It's, you know, the snake like eating itself, which represents, oh, there's something else trippy. Hold on, I'll talk about that in a second. Things coming full cycle. Okay, so like one situation coming to a close and another one being birthed. And what I always point out that she is naked in the card. So like when we're born, we're naked. Whenever we go through like some kind of lesson or something, we learn things, but when we come out, we're naked like a baby. There's a vulnerability that comes with growing. And then also the signs I'm talking about, the signs the planets are in, Mars, Mercury, and the Sun are all in Scorpio, and Saturn is in Aquarius. Well, here we have all of those are fixed signs. Fixed signs are stubborn. They're like staying power. They stay the course. We have, hold on, we have Aries, Scorpio. I want to get this right. That's Aquarius. And wait, Taurus. Yep. Taurus. We have Aries, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. There's a new world being born. We're coming spiritually home. However, you have to drop your shit. You have to just stop clinging so tightly to things that anything really is going to be the main point of it. But wherever you are in that journey, because that's an ongoing process. And use your mind and your wit to take action like a knight. Like he's not some, you know, somebody just like being mean to people for no reason. He's at war. God, that's fucking crazy. I kind of want to pull another card. I'm gonna do this. I just had the weirdest thought. This is my Moonology deck. And then in my head, I said, moon's over my hammy. I was like, I should make a Denny's tarot deck. Oh, yeah, this is it's weird times, weird times. Have faith in your dreams. Four came out. I don't know, that's way too many, but let's just see what they say. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. Look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. And conclusions are within reach. That's full moon eclipse, which we're in eclipse season. Have faith in your dreams. Conclusions are within reach. Look at the bigger picture. Like, what are you going to let go now? Nothing compared to what wants to come in. and prosperity lies ahead. Anyway, that was fucking sweet. So have fun. It's not easy, but take care, be mindful, and always look inward at your part while all this is going on. Peace. Namaste.